and Water Studios. Powered locally by Ferguson HVAC. Engineered tough, built to last.
Portions of the following program were pre-recorded. 95.3 WDAE has your chance to win $1,000. Just enter this nationwide keyword on our website. Money. That's MONEY. Enter it now. 953WDAE.com. Everything Tampa Bay sports. We are 95.3 W237CW Pinellas Park, WRUB HD3 Clearwater, and a mighty AM 620 WDAE St. Petersburg, an iHeart radio station. It's Tuesday from Dade City to Carrollwood and all around Tampa Bay, plus worldwide on iHeart Radio.
The gloves are off. I'm playing hardball. It's 4th and 15, and you're looking at a full court press.
You're tuned into the voice of the Tampa Bay sports fan.
You're going to like this guy. He's all right. He's a good fella. He's one of us.
Buckle up, because you're on the drive with TKras. Afternoons on 95.3 WDAE and AM 620.
Yeah, welcome aboard on this Fill in the Blank Tuesday. Good afternoon, Tampa Bay. The Drive with TKras presented by Moss Nissan is on the air with executive producer Chris Mathis riding shotgun, and you there as well. We are live in living color, don't you know, at 95.3 on the FM side, the mighty AM 620. And don't forget to download the new and improved iHeartRadio app. It's beautiful. It's got a ton of new features. There's a scan feature on there. There are presets so you can favorite your number 1, number 2 radio stations. You got to go in there, favorite WDAE. You can also favorite your favorite podcasts, like the Drive podcast, commercial-free podcast of the show. It is exciting, Coach. Can be access through the free and new and improved iHeartRadio app. So get on it. You can listen to us from anywhere in the civilized world through the app. It's a beautiful thing. And good afternoon to all of you who are watching us on the stream. We're on YouTube, Facebook, and X at 953 WDAE and AM 620. And if you're watching on the stream, this is the craze that is sweeping Tampa Bay right now. You see what I'm wearing here? It's the Drive t-shirt. First off, it's very soft and it's very comfortable. It's like form-fitting. You know, it kind of accentuates my incredible physique.
It looks phenomenal on you, Tom.
Thank you very much, Chris Mathis. What's going on over there? How you doing? Hey, you ran into Ken Hagan, the Hillsborough County Commissioner, the hitman?
Yeah, I did. I was getting breakfast with my fiance earlier this morning. Very early afternoon.
See how we slipped that in there, folks? With my fiance.
Well, I introduced him to her and vice versa. So, nonetheless, yeah, it was cool to see him, and obviously a big fan of the program. Loves listening to the Overtime Show as well, he stated there, after a Buccaneers win or loss. Unfortunately, he doesn't root for the losses, but said that it's very entertaining. Nonetheless, after a Buccaneer game.
And look, I've known Ken Hagan for many, many, many years, and he's awesome at what he does, and he's an avid listener. He is what we call a P1 here in radio terms. He's always listening, even though he's very busy at work. And I know part of his job was trying to entice the Rays. We'll see. I mean, the Rays, I think, have something going on this side with all of those measures being approved. Now it's up to the Rays to accept it. They got until March 31st. That's another mess.
I can hear you.
Thank you. I'm glad somebody could hear me, Eric.
So we got Eric Neander and Ken Hagan that can hear us.
Yeah, they can hear us. And Eric listens too. You know, he's a sneaky P1. He listens. He knows what's being said by yours truly and other people, by the way. So I have always appreciated Ken Hagan for his support over the course of many, many years. And we appreciate all of you for your support over the course of many, many moons here on the Drive, on your ride home. There's a lot to do. Now, we're on the air for 2 hours. By the way, all guests will appear via the Central Florida Behavioral Health Network DA hotline. 1 hour from now, I saw him yesterday in the Bucs locker room. Our guy, Greg Auman, who covers the Bucs in the NFC South for FoxSports.com. Tom Brady apologist, too, the last time he was on this show. And I'm only joking, you know.
So what's the question?
The question here, Tommy boy, is How have you managed to pull the wool over everyone's eyes and brainwash people into thinking that you can do whatever you want? Now, I love Tom Brady, and I love what he did here in the 3 years that he was in Tampa Bay. He completely turned around the fortunes of this franchise, came in, won a Super Bowl. Incredible. You can't put a price tag on what he did. But I'm watching what he's doing right now with the Raiders. And he's also a Fox NFL analyst. He and Greg Auman, they work for the same entity. And he's got a hands-on approach to what's happening with the Raiders right now in terms of their search for a general manager. And, oh, by the way, there's news on that, too, with a local angle in regards to our Tampa Bay Buccaneers. I'll get into that in a matter of moments. And you're still doing games on Fox, and Fox has got the Super Bowl, so he's doing the Super Bowl. He cannot be allowed to continue this arrangement, in my estimation. It is a conflict of interest. You can't do it. You can't be minority owner of the Raiders and start pulling strings in order to get a GM or get a coach in place and continue to be a broadcaster and being allowed this access. And it's limited now because of his new job title. I mean, if you can't have the access that, analysts normally have, are accustomed to having, then he's got to make a decision. Or maybe the league has to make a decision for him. I will venture to say, and this, get ready, because this is a hot take. Are you ready for this? I know we'll get into the opening drive. Relax, calm down. We'll get into the Bucs. I think the Super Bowl in New Orleans will be Tom Brady's final broadcast on Fox. I think moving forward, he's going to somehow make something up. There's going to be a convenient way, a statement or something. The league's going to come to him and say, listen, you can't continue to do both. And it's a shame because, listen, $37.5 million for 10 years, that's a hard job to give up. But what would you rather have? I know this is a day early, but would you rather be a minority owner or a national broadcast analyst? I'd rather be a minority owner. Tom Brady is having his cake. He's eating it too and all that good stuff. But I just don't think he will be allowed to continue to do both. I know he's the GOAT, and I know you're bending rules for him because of what he's done. But I tend to believe his final broadcast is going to be the Super Bowl. I do. But we'll talk to Greg Auman about all things Bucs, NFL, NFC South, what kind of changes, how disappointing was the loss of the Commanders, obviously very disappointing. And what about Todd Bowles? What is his shelf life? Greg Auman coming up at 4:05. We've got Fill in the Blank. Chris Mathis is up to something. There's a lot to discuss. Fill in the Blank is going to be very, very interesting, and that is coming up at 4:30. And we'll lead you all the way up until 5 o'clock. And this will be the final broadcast of Buccaneers Total Access with Todd Bowles coming up at 5.
Not at this time.
Not at this time, no, but at 5 o'clock. Todd Bowles is coming up. By the way, I'm just calling things the way I see it. And I was there yesterday for Todd Bowles' season-ending presser. Not at this time is like one of his favorite sayings. He's got a number of cliches that are go-tos for him, and it drives me nuts. Not at this time is one. And he did it yesterday, too. It was one of the, I forgot which sound clip it was, but he said, we got to coach it better. We got to play it better. It drives me nuts. Not at this time. Not at this time. And we got to coach it up better. We got to play it better. I was right. That's me. That was me at the press conference. I was grunting like, come on. Oh, well, following up on that, following up on the shelf life conversation for Todd Bowles and what's next for the Buccaneers, the theme of our opening drive.
Start the engine. Gas to the floor. Here's the opening drive.
Opening drive brought to you by the award-winning Chattanooga Whiskey 91, available at your favorite Tampa retail store. Drink Chattanooga Whiskey and enjoy responsibly. Cheers to all of you out there. Good stuff, Chattanooga Whiskey. Damn, man, I felt like hitting the bottle after the game on Sunday night. Unfortunately, I was here till 2 a.m., so I decided against it because I'm in a working capacity. But there will be some Chattanooga whiskey being had. Maybe tonight. We'll see. Last night I couldn't. It was rain. It was rainy driving home. Didn't get around to doing it. Just spent the nice night relaxing. I thought I was going to watch a scintillating NFL divisional playoff game. It wasn't. Yeah. We'll get into that coming up in just a little bit. But I wanted to talk and continue to further the discussion or advance the story, if you will. That's a broadcast term on the Buccaneers and where they're going this offseason. So yesterday, I made the statement that Todd Bowles has to have a deep run in the postseason next year or else. Now, we put that out on social media, what we call Canvas, and a brief video of me talking about it. And some of you people, God bless your hearts. God bless your misguided hearts. Some of you didn't know what the or else meant. Are you kidding me? Do you really need me to kind of spell it all out? So let me preface it. Let me rephrase it and tell you word for word what it means. Does Todd Bowles deserve to be fired right now? What's his favorite line there, Chris Mathis?
Not at this time.
No, not at this time. No. 3 years, 3 division titles. 8 wins, 9 wins, 10 wins. I get it. There's a lot that a lot of fans don't like, and I understand it. There's a lot of things that Todd does that I don't approve of. And we discussed it yesterday, his need to hire a consultant to help him with the clock management issues. That's a must. And I don't know if there's a guy who's supposed to help him, but I'm saying no. I thought that was supposed to be a thing. I'll ask Greg Auman when he comes up at 4 o'clock. Greg knows everything. But I would urge Todd Bowles to take that next step. You can't afford to be stubborn. You know, one of the things Todd said yesterday, somebody asked him, hey, what have you learned about yourself this year? And Todd said, well, the older I get, the more I can still learn about what I'm doing. Well, learn, okay? Evolve, adapt, or else. Or else is you're gone, okay? No, that's not a laughing matter, I can tell you that.
Well, in comparison to what others might have been thinking, or else meant.
Or else meant you're fired. That's what it means. Deep run in the playoffs, or else. I mean, how else do you want me to put it?
Third prize is your fired.
It's third prize. He's not getting the steak knives. We definitely haven't seen the Cadillac Eldorado. That's another movie you got to see, by the way. Glenn Ross. One of the great movie scenes I think I've ever seen is when Alec Baldwin walks into that room full of salesmen and he continues to berate, eviscerate all these guys. And he does it in a very arrogant manner. It's one of the great scenes.
I'll add that to my must-see movie list, if you will.
Yes, you should. Glenn Ross. It's a must. It's fantastic. But, you know, he's going around and he's berating all these salespeople, and he's like, listen, you know, you drove whatever car you drove in, and I drove like a BMW. So he's showing off. He's arrogant. He's dismissive. He's degrading, but it is so wildly entertaining. Wildly entertaining. And I'm not saying that's what Jason Light needs to do, is just get his staff together and go in there acting like he's Alec Baldwin. Saying, get mad, damn it. Get mad. We lost to a rookie quarterback at home. Get mad, damn it. Oh, my goodness. I can see Jason Light doing that, being Alec Baldwin from Glenn Ross. Hope he's not listening. But look, I think Jason Light should urge Todd Bowles to get better in that area. If you want, and look, you can't have both. okay? If Todd Bowles doesn't want to give up his defensive play calling, and he won't, and that's something that a lot of fans are calling for, Todd Bowles has made it clear that he is not doing that. If he's going to go down, he's going to go down doing it his way, calling plays. That's fine. If you want to continue to call plays, that's fine. But you're still the head coach. And as the head coach, you have other responsibilities on game day, like, I don't know, how to work the clock, when to call timeouts, when not to call timeouts, challenges and whatnot, or when to go for it. And look, he's a defensive guy by nature. But here's the thing that is striking about him. He's also aggressive. He blitzes a lot. Since the Bucs came out of the Week 12 bye, you heard Chris Collinsworth talk about it. They were blitzing more than anybody. And look, they were blitzing at the third highest rate in the NFL during the regular season. Since the Week 12 bye, it was even more than that. So he's an aggressive guy by nature. Yet you get into these situations where it's 4th and 1, 4th and 3, and he's very conservative. Why? Because he feels like the situation the other night, the bad snap by Graham Barton where they won 2 yards backwards. I think if it's 4th and 1, I think he would have won for it. That's what he said yesterday, by the way. But at 4th and 3, down 20-17, he's like, well, I'm going to kick the field goal. I'm going to tie the game with 4:41 left, and I'm going to leave it up to my defense to get me a stop, which, you know, they couldn't do, even though they did turn the Commandos over twice on downs, including the biggest sequence of the game early in the fourth quarter. The Commanders at 1st and goal at the 1, and they got 0. The Buccaneers had an incredible goal line stand. They turned them over. They turned them away. And then a couple of plays later, the ill-fated jet sweep where the ball was fumbled by Baker and Jalen McMillan. Bobby Wagner recovered. A couple of plays later, Jaden Daniels on a 4th down throws a touchdown to Terry McLaurin right in front of Josh Hayes and right behind Antoine Winfield Jr. So that was your game right there. And maybe Todd was thinking, well, we had a great goal line stand, 1st and goal at the 1. I'm kicking the field goal here, and I think my defense can get a stop. Well, it didn't happen because with 4:41 left, the Commandos took the ball all the way down the field. Kalijah Kancey thought they were playing flag football. He's grabbing at Jaden Daniels' towel, thinking he's got him in the backfield for a loss. And Jaden Daniels dives forward for a 1st down. They were able to drain the clock down, and then Zane Gonzalez kicks a field goal. It goes off the upright and through, and your season is over. So if Todd Bowles wants to continue to call plays, okay, you're the head coach, but get somebody to help you in maybe your weakest area, which is game management, clock management, use of timeouts. You better find somebody. Because if you don't, man, if you're not evolving or adapting, you're a dying breed. You're an endangered species in this league. So it's got to happen. Todd Bowles got to do it. And I like him. I don't want him to get fired, but guess what? You know what? It's a results-oriented business. The Buccaneers are going to make moves in the offseason that will make them even better. You need an edge rusher, and just as important as an edge rusher, 1 and 1A is edge rusher and corner, in my humble opinion. Somebody was asking me on X, a listener from Texas, a few minutes ago, hey, Bucs are playing a lot of soft zone. Terry McLaurin catches his touchdown. Well, the reason why they do that is it's part of the scheme. They blitz a lot. They don't really have lockdown man-for-man cover guys. I think Zion McCollum has got the necessary tools, but he needs to be more technical in what he does. Sometimes tracking the ball could be an issue for him, but I think his physical tools are there, and Jamel Dean is just not reliable. He's not. Is he talented? Yes. Is he reliable? No. So just as important as getting an edge rusher, the Buccaneers absolutely need a lockdown man-for-man corner. Those guys are hard to find. And I mentioned yesterday, I would prefer to be a veteran. It would cost you a lot of money. I'm kind of backing off on that stance now. When I look over a lot of things, I was doing some research in terms of the draft and who might be available. And these veterans that are going to be available in free agency, it's going to be very costly. And Jason Light knows that too. But by hook or by crook, through draft or free agency, you better go out there and find somebody who can cover a receiver one-on-one. And I get it, they're hard to find, but darn it, if anybody can find that guy, I think it's Jason Light, without question. We were mentioning the Raiders and Tommy Boy before. There's an update. The Raiders are going to interview assistant GM John Spytek of the Buccaneers, and that's coming in the next few days. After we left yesterday, we got word that Spytek is also getting a second interview with the Tennessee Titans. That means Tennessee likes him. They're also interviewing a number of other candidates. So it looks like John Spytek could be moving on. And you know what? Kudos to him and his family. They've been through a lot of personal struggles, and prayers out to them for what they've been through. And he's a real sharp guy, and he's been at this a long time. He's a good personnel guy. He's been a right-hand man for Jason Light for many, many years. And this is an opportunity that I think is well-deserved. Whether it's the Raiders or the Titans, it looks like John Spytek may have another job fairly soon. And good for him. I think he deserves it. And this is not the first time Jason Light's right-hand man leaves for a GM job. Actually, it was a Tennessee job. It was John Robinson. He left, went to Tennessee, and initially things were going well, and then he traded A.J. Brown, and then he got fired after that. Probably not the wisest move. Maybe, A.J. Brown wasn't reading books on the sidelines when he was with the Titans, although he says he's been doing that for a long time. He just got caught last weekend as a member of the Eagles, which is a farce, by the way. And we'll get into the divisional playoff matchups coming up later on this hour.
No, I heard that book has climbed to like number 1 on Amazon.
Of course. And you know what? He should get a kickback. What was it? The inner workings of how to be a diva?
Wow.
What? What?
You insulted him a little bit.
I insult anybody. Come on, give me
that one. I'll get you a drink.
Give me a
Tom.
drink.
You don't have to ask for it today.
Give me some Chattanooga Whiskey 91. Proud sponsors of the opening drive. You know, give me a break.
Drinks around the house.
They're on the house. A.J. Brown needs to get some kickbacks or something. The inner workings or the inner excellence. It was inner something. Jeez Louise.
Inner excellence.
Inner excellence. That's what it was. I know inner was.
Wow, listen to this. It climbed from 523,497th on the list to number 1 on the best-selling list on Amazon.
That is unbelievable. Just because A.J. freaking Brown was reading it on the sidelines.
Of
all
offense.
people. That author is unbelievably happy right now. He should send A.J. Brown something.
A signed copy.
A signed copy at the very least. He just made him like millions. Who's the author?
Oh, hang on.
Inner excellence. That guy or lady or gal.
I think it's Jim Murphy.
Jim Murphy.
Nice name right there. Yep, Jim Murphy.
Fine Irish man is Jim Murphy.
He's going all over the place. He's doing interview hits all over. I mean, this guy's everywhere right now.
Because of A.J. Brown. Can you believe that? This is the kind of country that we live in. And it's not to say his book is not very good.
But it's that people I'm speaking for myself. Look up to A.J. Brown, and his attitude, his ways of doing things.
Well,
come on, man.
I'm telling you, man, that's why these athletes, these celebrities, they do have power. They do have the oomph. They have marketability. He's got marketability. And he was able to go out there and he's reading this book, and now Jim Murphy is going to be profiting like no one's business. Like nobody you've ever seen. Unbelievable. We'll talk Buccaneers and more with Greg Auman, FoxSports.com at 4:05. And then at 4:30, it's fill in the blank. A.J. Brown getting caught reading Inner Excellence on Sunday was blank. We'll get into that and a whole lot more. And your calls, 888-546-4620. Text at 82945. Great to have you with us. The Drive on your ride home on a Tuesday. Coming up, More calls and texts on the Buccaneers. Which two players saw the biggest jumps this year for the Buccaneers? Todd Bowles will let you know on that. Plus, a look ahead to the draft and next year in terms of next year's Buccaneer opponents. That is also next.
You're locked in to The Drive with TKras.
Ladies and gentlemen, we just told you about our friends over at Chattanooga Whiskey. It's great to have them back in the fold. We'll get into them in a matter of moments, but it is The Drive, and it is presented by our friends over at Moss Nissan, where their goal is to never lose your business over price. TKras and Chris Mathis alongside as well. And look, 2025 is here, and a lot of people are out there. They're doing their thing. If you're thinking about buying a new vehicle, maybe the holiday hangovers or credit card bills have you, feeling sorry for yourself. But they've got the cure over at Moss Nissan, Chris Mathis.
Yes, they do, Tom. No money down right now, plus no payments due until the spring.
Well, that's a great, great promotion. I bought my last two vehicles over at Moss Nissan, and guess what? With every purchase, you'll get Moss Care. What does that mean? That means lifetime oil changes and tire rotations for as long as you own your vehicle. That's beautiful.
Yeah, no doubt about it. You'll also get all of that and so much more, including your opportunity at selecting from the largest Nissan inventory in Tampa Bay.
Which is what I did when I bought my Pathfinder. I went to mossnissan.com. I picked out the one that I wanted in the exact color I wanted. I called up Brad Merritt. I'm like, look, I was on your website. I saw this one. He's like, perfect. We've got that one. Come on down. We'll have it ready for you. That's how they do it over at Moss Nissan. They can do it for you as well. 3 convenient locations, North Tampa, Newport Richey, and Brooksville, or online again. the next several years. Maybe you can lower your cap number too in the process. I would watch for that possibility. And we'll talk to Greg Auman coming up at 4 o'clock. We'll get more into the Buccaneers and what kind of moves that they might make. But I think a Gedeke contract extension is very much in the cards. Now, the Buccaneer draft position has been cemented. They will pick 19th in the draft coming up. It's going to be in Green Bay, by the way, which is interesting. I would love Tampa to host this draft at some point. I think that would be awesome. And you could do it outside. I know they're doing the outdoor game next February the 1st, Lightning against the Bruins, who, by the way, meet tonight up at TD Garden up in Boston. So, be the Thunder. We haven't forgotten about the Bolts here on the program at 23-15-3. They've got 49 points so far on the season. So Kucherov and the guys will be up in Boston tonight. But I think having the draft here would also be great. If there's a guy who can pull that off, I think it would be Rob Higgins, who had a hand, obviously, in the outdoor game coming here in the Tampa Bay Sports Commission. Let's try and get the NFL draft here. I think that would be an awesome spectacle. But the Buccaneers will pick 19th, and Jason Light, I'm telling you, man, the last few years, he's been incredible in terms of the draft. The 21 draft wasn't great. The 20 draft, and then 23, and then 24, awesome. Knocked it out of the park. And he'll have the 19th pick in this coming draft. And I saw the 2025 opponents. And look, anytime you win a division, you're going to face a lot of first-place teams. So the Buccaneers, by the way, will be playing one more road game than home game. They've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. They have 8 home games, and they have 9 road games. The usual suspects, obviously, in the Falcons, the Panthers, and the Saints. Outside of them, the Buccaneers will have 6 out-of-division road games. They've got to go to Houston, division winner. They've got to go to L.A. to face the Rams, division winner. Very impressive last night, and we'll talk about that in a matter of moments. They got to go to Seattle. That's a very tough place to play. They also have to go to Buffalo, division winner. Got to go to Detroit again, division winner. And then at Miami, which, whatever. So 1, 2, 3, 4. They have to go to 4 division winners next year. At the Rams, at the Bills, at the Lions, at the Texans, and then you got to go to Seattle, tough place to play, and then at Miami. The home schedule looks quite attractive. Outside of their divisional foes, they'll welcome in the Eagles again. The Eagles will be coming here with their scumbag fans. Oh, did I say that out loud? Sorry, not sorry. The 49ers come here again. I'm sure Kyle Shanahan and John Lynch is always thrilled to come back here. Come on, he's one of us. The Patriots and Mike Vrabel and company are coming to Ray J next year. I think the Patriots could be one of those teams that make a leap forward. Very similar to what the Commandos did. The Commanders went from 4-13 to 12-5. And I think there's a chance you might see the New England Patriots with all of the assets that they have at their disposal. The New England Patriots have the number 4 overall pick. They were 4-13 this year. I don't know if they'll win 12 games next year, but with Mike Vrabel now as their coach, he's going to instill discipline. He's going to cultivate that culture. I think he's a good coach. I think they'll be more structured. You do have a quarterback that you can build around in Drake May. He's got $130 million in cap space. And he's got the number 4 overall pick. So it's possible that next year's version of the Commanders, who makes that 1-year leap, could be the New England Patriots. But the Patriots come here. The Arizona Cardinals come here. And look at what we have here, Chris Mathis. You know who else comes here next year? The New York Jets. That's an easy win for the Buccaneers. What?
Write that down for sure.
No. You insulted him a little
I
bit.
did insult them.
And you have the right to.
I have the right to, because the Jets are awful. And as long as Mr. Diapers owns the team, Mr. Baby Powder himself, they're never going anywhere with that guy calling the shots. They're looking for a GM. By the way, Mike Greenberg, Bucs assistant GM, he interviewed with the Jets last week. We'll find out where that goes. Now, Mike Greenberg, not the one from ESPN, the Bucs assistant GM, he grew up in New York. He actually grew up a Jets fan, so that might be his dream to go back there and run the Jets. Well, listen, good luck if that's what he decides to do, and if that's his dream come true, that would be a heck of a job for him. And look, if the Jets actually do hire that guy, I think that would be a huge plus, because Mike Greenberg is very, very smart, knows how to navigate the cap. The Jets have their fair share of issues, cap-wise, personnel-wise. I think Mike Greenberg would do a good job of going up there and cleaning up that mess, as long as that fool, that buffoon, the owner, stays out of the freaking way. But there you have it. The Jets come here next year, and the Bucs should be able to take care of them easily, by the way. 888-546-4620. Text at 82945. Dolan texts again. I thought this year's schedule was super tough. Next year is just the same. Yes. Anytime you win a division, you got a first-place schedule, you're going to face some tough teams. You've got to go on the road to face 4 teams that won their division. The Eagles won their division. They're coming here. I think the 49ers could rebound. The Patriots will be improved. The Jets, terrible. And look, Arizona, they did some good things this year. They won 8 and 9. So, with a couple of breaks going their way, they've got some really good young players. I mean, this Trey McBride is a tremendous player. Marvin Harrison Jr., if Kyler Murray can stay away from, what's that video game? Grand Theft Auto? What does he play? I don't even know. I don't play video games anymore. What's that game that he plays? He got the...
Wait, who is that again?
Kyler Murray.
Kyler Murray. Oh, Call of Duty.
That's it.
Call of Duty.
I don't play these stupid games,
Grand Theft Auto.
For me, yeah, Grand Theft Auto.
Come on, man.
Tecmo Super Bowl. That's what I played back in the day.
That's great.
Super Mario Brothers. That's what I played. None of this, these violent games. Mario. You look like Mario. You're starting to turn into Mario and Luigi with your mustache there.
Did you not notice?
And you're dressed like him, too.
You haven't seen I shaved it a good bit, man.
I want you to take it all off. Can you do that?
He's talking about the mustache.
The mustache. I'm definitely talking about the mustache, not anything else.
Right. No, you're right. And I did trim it down a good bit, but I do need to. Maybe I'll try it.
You need to trim down a lot of stuff. All right, when we come back, don't forget Greg Auman at the top of the hour, fill in the blank at 4:30. The divisional playoff matchups are set. Who's the favorite? A look back at what took place last night, which was an absolute debacle. More NFL talk and the Lightning in action too tonight. That is next here on The Drive. Chanel.
You're tuned in to The Drive with TKras.
The weather's starting to get cooler again. It's going to be cold the rest of January. So is your hot water working? What about your air? Is that working? You're going to have to turn on the heat too at times. I know you've turned it on a few times. If you're having difficulty, I've got the guys who can take care of it. Air and water are two things a certified Ruud Pro partner knows an awful lot about. You know you can rely on Ruud to keep your indoor air comfortable. That has been established. And now you know you can rely on Ruud to make sure your hot water is flowing whenever you need it. If your wife is screaming, hey, there's no hot water in here, you better do something about it because she needs her hot baths and her hot showers, and you need to be on it. If that hot water isn't working, get with my guys over at Ruud Water Heating, the industry leader for total water heating solutions. You need conventional tank-type water heaters. They've got them. Tankless water heaters, that's what I've got. They've got that too. Replacement parts and accessories for all categories, check and check. Ruud is a one-stop solutions provider, and with the exclusive backing of Ferguson HVAC, your certified Ruud Pro partners get the very best products and parts. Ruud water heaters, engineered tough, and built to last. For AC and water heating solutions, check them out and connect with a certified Ruud Pro partner. Here's how you do it. Go online, RuudACFlorida.com. That's Ruud, R-U-U-D, RuudACFlorida.com. Tell them TKras sent you.
WDAE
traffic update.
This report is sponsored by Rapid Radios.
Seeing big delays on north and southbound 50th Street near Causeway due to a crash in that area. One on the entrance ramp to westbound I-4 from Mango Road. Crashed in St. Pete on 66th Street and 9th Avenue North. And delays on eastbound 54th Avenue North before 34th Street. A crash in the right-hand lane there. Get traffic info around the clock by searching News Radio WFLA on iHeartRadio. I'm Randy Myers.
Rapid Radios are instant push-to-talk walkie-talkies offering national LTE coverage and no subscription ever. Perfect for instant contact with an aging parent. For a limited time, go to rapidradios.com and you'll get an extra 60% off, free UPS shipping, and add code radio for an extra 5% off.
Listening on the free iHeartRadio app? Thanks to Farah and Farah, it's never been easier to send your opinions directly to your favorite show. When you open the app, click the red talkback microphone and hit send. Farah and Farah, here to make it easy, Tampa.
Your local Staples has hot deals and super low prices throughout the store and everything for your business. And right now at Staples, save up to $175 off your print order. Exclusions apply. Visit staples.com/print for details. Ends 2/1. Plus, save even more with the Easy Rewards program at Staples.
Ronnie Lane here, and when I'm not talking sports, I'm talking about ways to keep my hard-earned dollars in times like these. That's why I'm personal friends with Steve and Elizabeth Holland, co-founders of the Holland Group Retirement Wealth Advisors. I was able to get Steve to tune in and mention what he and his Holland Group family do for their clients. Take it away, Steve.
Hey, thanks a lot, Ronnie. You know, we have built a clean business for over 30 years, creating thousands of customized, inflation-adjusted, tax-advantaged, comprehensive retirement plans, and we were the first company in Tampa Bay to do it. That competitive edge has enabled us to hone in on our craft. You know, Ronnie, we have never had a client return their retirement plan and say, hey, this doesn't work.
Steve, I believe it. Folks, check out my friends by Googling the Holland Group Retirement Wealth Advisors. They have solid reviews online you can read, which matters enormously.
Our new and improved iHeartRadio app has made it even easier to enjoy the radio station's podcasts and playlists you love. How? Well, we've added everything you love about your car radio into the free iHeartRadio app. With easy-to-use presets, you can now save your favorite stations on the app, just like in your car. And with the all-new live radio dial, it's easier than ever to discover new stations you'll love based on your location or favorite genre. Find out what everyone's talking about and get the new and improved free iHeartRadio app today.
Hey, it's Brett from PG Men's Health. Did erectile dysfunction let you down last year? Well, let's make this year your year. Our WAVE technology is backed by 50 clinical studies, including research from Cambridge University. It revitalizes blood flow by repairing blood vessels. No pills, no needles, no side effects. If you're ready to end your erectile dysfunction struggles this year, call us now. You'll get a free assessment, exam, even the blood flow ultrasound completely free. This is worth hundreds of dollars. Plus, for those who call in the next 2 minutes, we're also throwing in your first treatment completely free. This is over $800 in value, but it's free to those who call in the next 2 minutes. Call 877-755-MENS. That's 877-755-6367. Guys, let's make this year your year and put ED in the past. Stop wasting your time with pills. Let PG Men's Health help you renew intimacy and reclaim confidence. Call PG Men's Health to qualify. 877-755-MENS. Again, 877-755-6367.
T-Mobile 5G home internet keeps getting better. Get our fastest connection loaded with benefits. Get T-Mobile's best home internet starting at $55 a month with auto pay and any voice line. Plus, Price Lock. We won't raise your rate on internet. Check availability at T-Mobile.com/home internet.
Exclusions like taxes and fees apply. Guarantees regular monthly rate plan price of fixed wireless 5G internet data with qualifying service. After $15 bill credit with postpaid voice line plus $5 a month without auto pay with debit or bank account. Regulatory fees included for qualifying accounts. $35 connection charge applies. Speeds vary due to factors affecting cellular networks.
Hey guys, TKras and Ronnie for C4MH.com. It's the holiday season, and with that comes those New Year's resolutions to hit the gym. But remember, guys, if you're over 40, you can't build muscle with low T.
That's
Words program at Staples.
Experience the Anajar Levine difference. Call 1-800-747-FREE.
Now, back to The Drive with TKras on 95.3 WDAE and AM 620. What's on tonight with The Drive with TKras?
And here he is, the man himself, the mustache, Chris the Mustache Mathis.
All right, another nickname here on The Drive. You just never know what you're going to get on your way home. That's why you guys join us, and we're grateful to have you right here after The Drive ends at 5 o'clock. We do have Buccaneer head coach Todd Bowles right here on WDAE. It starts, Coach, that's right. It starts at 5 o'clock right here on DAE. So not now, not at 4 o'clock, not 4:30, but 5 o'clock. All right here, streaming live on the free iHeartRadio app. Also, your Tampa Bay Lightning will get back into action as they'll take on the Boston Bruins there in Boston. It's a 7 o'clock face-off. And if you've missed anything from this program, even you, John Cooper, on your commute to the stadium tonight, download the free iHeartRadio app, search up The Drive with TKras.
Lightning at Boston tonight. Lightning in third place in the Atlantic Division at 49 points. Boston is just 2 points in back of the Bolts. And I'll tell you what, man, a plus 38 goal differential, if the Lightning are anything, they're fun to watch because they can get up and down the ice. The addition of Jake Gensel, and, you know, I wanted to kind of let it play out a little bit. And Julian Brisebois took a lot of heat for how he handled the Steven Stamkos saga, and that wasn't the easiest issue to navigate. I think I understood at the time what the Lightning were doing. And look, Stammer got 4 years at $32 million. I don't think the Lightning were going to pay anywhere near that. So, you know, good night and good luck to him. And I think once he's done with Nashville and once his playing career is done, I think the Lightning will come back just as they did with Martin St. Louis and Vinny Lacavia. They'll bring Stammer back and they'll give him the honor that he absolutely deserves, and that absolutely will happen. But from a hockey perspective, Julian Brisebois, at least right now for the moment, has got to be breathing a sigh of relief because this Lightning team's fun to watch. Jake Gensel has been incredible. You put him on that same line with Point and Kucherov. How the hell are you going to stop those three guys? Now, Brandon Hagel's also had a really good year, so the Lightning haven't been completely overly reliant on that top line, but that top line is getting it done like nobody's business. Ryan McDonough doing his thing. Vasi, you just want to see them be a little more consistent, especially when it comes to special teams. But so far, so good. Lightning have won 3 of their last 4 after that awful California road trip. And they'll be in Boston tonight at 7 o'clock. And look, it's always great to kick Boston's ass. And hopefully they can do that here tonight. So during the break, I was telling Chris Mathis here, that Amazon Prime game between the Steelers and the Ravens was watched by almost 25 million people over the weekend, which is incredible. 24.66 million were tuned in watching Steelers-Ravens on Amazon Prime. That's why Amazon Prime doled out all that big money, and that's why the NFL is always a ratings winner. And all these streaming services know it. Peacock, Amazon, so on and so forth. That's why they want to be in the NFL business. Unbelievable numbers. Unbelievable numbers put up by the Rams defense last night. Yeah, was Sam Darnold in the hospital after that game? Unfortunately, you know who went to the hospital? Eastlake's own Tyler Higbee. I saw him make a couple of catches, and then he suffered a chest injury. Apparently, he was spitting up blood. So they had to rush him to the hospital. Word is, though, he's okay, and he actually should be good to go. I mean, these guys are tough, man. Dude is spitting up blood. Next thing you know, he's going to be suiting up and playing against the Eagles this weekend in the divisional round. But I met his dad a couple of weeks ago. Heck of a nice guy, really good family. Tyler Higbee came back from that debilitating knee injury. He's back. So, you know, a little chest injury after what he just went through, a little blood spitting up. That's nothing. He's going to be just fine. But I'll tell you what, Sam Darnold, it sounds like the Vikings are moving off him based on Kevin O'Connell's comments after the game. And Sam Darnold is talented, but I saw this when he was with the Jets. Man, dude, you've got to get rid of the ball. Like he has no pocket awareness, and he'll hold on to the ball for 4 or 5 seconds until the roof caves in. Oh, my goodness. It was tough to watch. The Rams completely outcoached and outworked the Vikings last night. And kudos to Sean McVay after what Southern California and LA is going through with the wildfires. I think they wore their emotions on their sleeves. They went into Arizona and they handled business. Rams are dangerous. Philadelphia definitely is going to be on upset alert this weekend because the Rams could win that game. Jared Verse, he may be a rookie, but he's got man strength. All right, 1 hour's in the books. 1 more hour to go. Coming up, the Buccaneers will not be in the divisional round, unfortunately. Is right. We'll talk to Greg Auman about possible moves that the Buccaneers should be thinking about in the offseason. And also coming around, your next opportunity to win $1,000 in a matter of moments. You're going to hear the nationwide keyword, what you should be doing. Anybody could use $1,000. Maybe you can buy some race tickets over at Steinbrenner Field. Maybe you can take me and Mathis to lunch. Maybe you can buy Chris Mathis one of those mustache trimmers. But $1,000 could be yours in a matter of moments. And then Greg Auman coming up next. Don't move.
You're locked in to The Drive with TKras.
Ladies and gentlemen, The Drive is presented by my guys over at Moss Nissan, Brad Meredith and the boys. They are absolutely great people to deal with, and their goal is to never lose your business over price. And if you're shopping for a new or pre-owned vehicle in 2025, if the holidays have you hungover, if you got credit card debt that has you down, no problem. We've got the cure at Moss Nissan, right, Chris?
That is right. 2 words for you, Moss Nissan. Check them out. No money down, plus no payments due until the spring.
Without a doubt. Plus, you'll get Moss Care with every purchase. I've got Moss Care on my vehicle. I bought my last 2 vehicles over at Moss Nissan because the sales department and the service department are awesome.
If you're not headed to Moss Nissan right now, what are you doing? You get all of this while selecting from the largest Nissan inventory in Tampa Bay.
Without question. And they've got 3 locations to choose from: Tampa, Newport Richey, and Brooksville. Or you can check them out online at mossnissan.com. That's mossnissan.com. Moss Nissan, whatever it takes.
Tampa Bay Sports Radio 95.3 WDAE and AM 620 presents The One Grand Slam. Listen for your chance to win $1,000 at the top of every hour, weekdays 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. Got a chip or crack in your windshield? Call the Glass Doctor. We bring 3 decades of auto glass excellence to your doorstep. Why drive for service when our mobile glass shop on wheels brings leading-edge equipment and expertise to you?
Call the Glass Doctor, will fix your paint. Oh, yeah.
Hey guys, Ronnie Lane here. I know you've got these New Year's resolutions where you're hitting the gym, but remember, if you're over 40, you can't build muscle with low T. Testosterone is the primary hormone needed for building muscle, and if your testosterone is low, you'll be working twice as hard at the gym and getting nowhere. So know before you go and get your testosterone tested at C4MH.com. Just $45 gets you lab test and medical exam. And C4MH.com only treats with pharmaceutical testosterone and never that cheap cut rate compounded testosterone that all those pop-up T clinics use. C4MH.com never makes you pay for treatments in advance, no financial contracts to sign, and no financing needed, as C4MH.com is a medical clinic, not a marketing company. Just $170 a month and $90 for follow-up labs. No surprises, no upsells or add-ons. C4MH.com is the leader in low T care and has been since 2011 with 18 locations between Tarpon Springs and Naples. C4MH.com.
When you're hiring, have you ever felt like you're missing out on meeting truly great candidates for your roles? It seems impossible to find them, but they have to be out there somewhere, right? Well, they're not hard to find when you know where to go, and that place is ZipRecruiter. And right now, you can try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. ZipRecruiter helps 10 million people with their job search every day. And because these people are actively looking for jobs just like yours, it's easy to find the right person right away. In fact, 4 out of 5 employers who post on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. But if you're not using ZipRecruiter, you're missing out. So see what it's like when the impossible is easy. When you go to ZipRecruiter.com/free right now to try ZipRecruiter for free. Once again, that's ZipRecruiter.com/free. ZipRecruiter.com/free. Never miss out on great candidates with ZipRecruiter.
You wouldn't know it, but most financial advisors are put in a box. I'm Jeff Jr. from Trajan Wealth, and I want to provide you a little insight about financial advisors. Most financial advisors have to sell what their company requires them to sell, and many advisors have to only adhere to what's called a suitability standard. A suitability standard is a limited standard of care, not requiring what's sold to be best, just suitable. Advisors with this loose standard often have limited investment and product selection. Trajan Wealth is held to a fiduciary standard, which is the highest standard of care in the advisory business. And that's just one of the many reasons we have billions of dollars under our care and attract clients from other advisors. Raise your standards today and call Trajan Wealth. Call 813-550-1000. That's 813-550-1000.
Advisory services offered through Trajan Wealth, LLC, an SEC-registered investment advisor.
You okay?
I can't sleep with this cough.
Sounds like you need to vaporize that cold.
Vaporize?
Yeah, with NyQuil VapoCool. It's NyQuil plus a rush of Vicks vapors.
Whoa.
So you ready to get some sleep? Thank you, NyQuil VapoCool.
NyQuil VapoCool, the vaporizing nighttime coughing, aching, fever, best sleep with a cold medicine. And to vaporize sore throat pain, try Vicks VapoCool drops. Use as directed. Keep out of reach of children.
When you're hiring, have you ever felt like you're missing?
AE St. Petersburg, an iHeart radio station. It's Tuesday. From Newport Richey to Zephyr Hills and all around Tampa Bay, plus worldwide on iHeartRadio.
The gloves are off. I'm playing hardball. It's 4th and 15, and you're looking at a full court press.
You're tuned into the voice of the Tampa Bay sports fan.
You're going to like this guy. He's all right. He's a good fella. He's one of us.
Buckle up. Because you're on the drive with TKras. Afternoons on 95.3 WDAE and AM 620.
We're not going to overachieve and disappoint. We underachieve as far as ourselves are concerned. We don't worry about external expectations. Our internal expectations are for us to go to the Super Bowl injury or regardless, our internal expectations are to go to the Super Bowl. We did not get that accomplished. We did some good things throughout the year, yes. We had guys injured, yes. We got to the playoffs, yes. But our expectations are to win the Super Bowl.
Todd Bowles and the Buccaneers did not meet their goal. But listen, in reality, 31 of the 32 teams will not meet that goal. But with the expectations maybe being higher next year, is Todd Bowles going to be on the hot seat? Is it a deep playoff run or else? Welcome back. Good afternoon, Tampa Bay. 4:09 on your ride home. The Drive with yours truly, presented by Moss Nissan. Chris Mathis on the other side. More of your calls and texts coming up. We do have fill in the blank at the bottom of the hour. Todd Bowles has to win blank in order to keep his job next season. So we'll have that and a whole lot more. We'll take you up until 5 o'clock. And ironically enough, at 5 o'clock, the final Buccaneer Total Access show with Todd Bowles coming your way then.
Not at this time.
Not at this time, but at 5 o'clock. That's one of Todd Bowles' favorite sayings. And nobody knows Todd Bowles' favorite sayings and cliches more so than my next guest on the Central Florida Behavioral Health Network DA hotline. Learn more at cfbhn.org. He covers the Bucs in the NFC South for FoxSports.com. Greg Auman is back with me here. What's up, Greg?
Not much. Tom, good to be on. Todd didn't like that question, that clip you just played. I had asked him about outside expectations and kind of said, like, you guys had a year where you both overachieved and disappointed, and he didn't like that at all. I think the idea that, I guess either of them, but yeah, it was fun to get his answer on that and see how he kind of framed the season that just ended.
Yeah, look, I think it's disappointing. I think he's disappointed, and I'm sure the Glazers might be disappointed, although he was asked that question yesterday. He has not met with ownership. I don't know if he's met with Jason Light yet, but do you expect that meeting to take place at some point?
Well, I mean, I think that meeting takes place all the time. I don't think he's in any danger of losing his job. I don't think the NFL fires coaches that have won 3 straight division titles very often. So, no, I mean, I think like you were asking, it'll be curious like what the bar is for next year, what he needs to do to come back in 26. I would think it definitely starts with making the playoffs again, keeping that streak alive.
And that's the question. And I made the statement yesterday, Greg, that Todd Bowles has to make a deep run in next year's playoffs or else I think his job is certainly going to be on the line. Do you agree?
Yeah, I mean, like a deep playoff run, I don't know. Like if they win 12 games, win a home playoff game, and then lose the divisional, I don't know that you fire a guy over that. I mean, it's kind of getting to that area that Tony Dungy was in, where you had good teams that weren't great teams, and it's awesome for the franchise if they can reset their standard to conference championship game or bust or something like that. But no, I think, he's won one more game in each of his 3 seasons as a head coach. He'd do well to continue that. It won't be easy. It's going to be a first-place schedule again. But I do think health kind of worked against him this year. I mean, as a default, you would think that next season should be a healthier year as luck goes than 24 was. And if that happens, I think that works in his favor.
And one of his biggest problems, Greg, and you know about it as well, and have you written about it at FoxSports.com, is the time management, the clock management. And I think it would serve him well to have somebody who can help him out with that. Does he have anybody, and should the Buccaneers help him out in that regard?
No, he does. I mean, like, people were upset Sunday, like at the end of the game, because I think the Commanders ran a play with 2:33 left, and he didn't call a timeout. He let it go to the 2-minute warning. And I do totally think that conventional wisdom there is take a timeout before the 2-minute, if you will. And you kind of, you think about it as a default, a timeout has to be at least worth that 30 seconds that a team can run off when they want to run the clock off against you. The problem with the Bucs is, I mean, the game ended on a second down kick. So there's no combination of timeouts that matters if you can't get them to stop moving the ball down the field. So that's the problem, is that even if he used his timeouts perfectly, it just means they take a knee one more time and they kick on 3rd down. It's academic.
Right. But I'm just saying, does he need somebody who can help?
He has somebody that's there for him to do that. Whether he's listening to that person as much as he should, there's definitely somebody in his ear letting him know, hey, you can call time out here. The first half, everybody was upset in the first half because he let, 10, 12 seconds run off the clock when they're sitting there at whatever, the 14-yard line, and they got in and scored with 10 seconds left. So it's kind of moot. But, yeah, his end game probably tends to hold on to his first half timeouts more than he could. But I also think at some of the times where people, this is a no-brainer, there are times when your opponent can benefit from your timeout as much as you can. And I think sometimes people lose that sometimes. But, yes, clock management, end-of-half clock management is definitely something he can improve on.
Greg Auman, FoxSports.com's with me here on The Drive. So I know Todd's been asked this many times over the last couple of years, and he has shot it down. Do you think he should relinquish his defensive play calling? I don't think he will. Do you think that conversation will be had this offseason?
Yeah, I think it's a conversation they have every offseason. He's let Larry Foote and he's let Casey Rogers call games in the preseason before. Those guys have been with him long enough. I think it's very much 80-90% the same defensive instincts because they've been running his defense with him. They know exactly what he's done. The problem, everybody wants to bring in Robert Saleh or bring in another high level big defensive name. Todd Bowles got to where he is because of his defensive mind. This is his defense. Anyone he brings in, he's going to want to implement and run his defense. Mm-hmm. So I think more what I'll be curious to see here in this offseason is whether he tweaks his staff to bring in a fresh set of thoughts and opinions and a dissenting opinion maybe every once in a while. This says, hey, coach, when we were here, one of the things we did was this. And to give him a new look at things, like I said, kind of a dissenting opinion, if you will. Just somebody, on offense, I think they did a really good job, not only bringing in Liam Cohen, but bringing in Josh Grizzard and bringing in Brian McClendon and other people that have other experience in other offenses. And it's kind of more of a lot of people working together to come up with a game plan. I think Todd leans on his defensive assistants, but I think he's basically had the same group of guys he's worked with for a long time. And I think it's good to trust your system, especially when it's kept Todd Bowles coaching as long as it has. But I do think they would do well, even if it's just one or two assistants, to cycle in some fresh faces and some new ideas.
Can't hurt. Greg Auman, FoxSports.com's with me. So Todd Bowles pointed out two guys whom he thought made the greatest strides this year. He mentioned Luke Gedeke as well as Chris Isian. Gedeke going into a contract year next year. I think he's a candidate for a contract extension, Greg. Do you see that happening at all this offseason?
It wouldn't surprise me. There's probably two, if not three guys, that are 22 draft picks that'll be free agents after next year, and kind of on the upswing where it might get more expensive to extend them a year from now. That's definitely Luke Gedeke. That's Zion McCollum. Cade Otton's the same way. To a lesser extent, Rashad White's in that group. I don't think they really need to worry about losing him or anything like that. But Gedeke's been a great tackle for them. It's hard to think about paying two tackles $18, $20 million a year or more. He's not in any way at that Tristan Wirfs level, but he's at that level that you want to lock him up and you want to keep him. So, yeah, it wouldn't surprise me. They'll have the cap flexibility. Obviously, Godwin is really the only high-dollar free agent they're dealing with. I think Levante's probably making a choice between returning or retiring. I don't think there's that much threat to lose him to another team. But after Godwin, in terms of big-dollar priorities, I would think Gedeke's probably next.
And you mentioned Levante, and you and I were in the locker room, and I had a chance to talk to him for a little bit, and he said, hey, listen, I still love the game. I can still impact the game. That leads me to believe that I think he will come back, and obviously the Buccaneers would welcome him back next year for year number 14. Chris Godwin is an interesting case coming off the ankle injury. Jalen McMillan is the number 2. You got Mike Evans as the number 1. I know Liam Cohen would like to play more 11 personnel to put those 3 wideouts out there. If they bring back Godwin, you got Evans, Godwin, and J-Mac. That's a pretty tough trio to deal with, Greg. What do you think the chances are?
No, I think there's a good chance of it. Again, Chris Godwin is a lot like Mike and Levante, and that this is all he's known. He loves it here. He wants to be here. I think the feeling is certainly mutual from the Bucs. It's just a matter of what you can afford. I think that what they're trying to do is find a number that works for him and is close enough to what he might get with another team to make him want to stay, but also not insulting to Mike Evans, who's had a great year and has 1 year left on his contract now. Keeping the two of them both feeling respected and appreciated and valued and loved here in Tampa, it's hard to do because no matter what, one of them is going to be making more than the other. But beyond that, I think there's every interest in him coming back and every interest in the team wanting him back. Like you said, they've seen how quickly you can find yourself shorthanded at important positions. So to overinvest in receiver, to have Mike and Chris Godwin with Jalen McMillan, knowing that by the time you have to pay Jalen McMillan, it probably one of those two might be done.
Right.
I think that's probably a good use of resources.
Liam Cohen is another name. Jacksonville's requesting to speak to him. Now, aside from Jacksonville, do we know of anybody else that's reached out to him? And what do you think the chances are that he's back?
I'm sorry, you kind of cut out there. I didn't hit that last part. I'm sorry.
Liam Cohen, what do you think the chances are that he returns? Jacksonville's the only team that we know of, right, Greg, that has requested him?
Yeah, I mean, I think this interview process is still kind of ongoing. I think there are teams that have just started making the decision in terms of what they're doing. I don't think Dallas is going to be a factor for him, but I would think Jacksonville and Vegas are probably the two teams you wonder about the most for Liam Cohen. I don't know that Vegas wants to hire another young, inexperienced coach, someone who hasn't been a head coach before, seeing as how things went with Antonio Pierce. But Jacksonville wouldn't surprise me. Jacksonville, I think, I don't know whether you're tied to their GM or not. It probably depends on who the candidate is. Mm-hmm. But you'd have a quarterback you can build around in Trevor Lawrence. You'd have some cap flexibility. You're certainly in an easier division even than the NFC South. So that works in your favor. But I don't know. It's hard to know what Liam's priorities are going to be. I think he'll probably have a bunch of interviews. I don't know if he'll have offers or not, but it's one of those things where, you can't do much more to help yourself in 1 year than he has with what he's done in this first year in Tampa.
Greg Auman, FoxSports.com with me here on The Drive talking Bucs and NFL. So offseason priorities, we know edge rusher right at the top of the list. Just as important to me, Greg, as corner, Jamel Dean got injured again in the Commanders game. I think even though Todd Bowles not going to talk about it publicly, I think privately he's got to be really frustrated that he's going through this again at the cornerback spot. They traded Carlton Davis last year because they couldn't rely on him. Might we see the Bucs move off Jamel Dean, which means they need a corner this offseason? Uh-oh. Did we lose him?
Let me put him on. Oh, yeah, we did. Right back. Hang tight.
Oh, that was so suspenseful. It's like,
I know. Yeah, where's he going with that? I thought
maybe he was trying to formulate what he was going to say. Maybe he was going to tell us something really interesting. Okay, we're going to try and get Greg back because I need answers. I need an answer to that question. I think corner is an absolute need. Jamel Dean is somebody that I don't think you can rely on moving forward. And Greg Auman is back. Hey, Greg.
Sorry about that. Lost you there for a sec.
All right.
I heard you talk about Jamel Dean.
Yes.
And yeah, there's a lot of people asking about Jamel, whether the Bucs could do the same thing they did with Carlton Davis a year ago where they trade him away, got the pick that ended up being Jalen McMillan. And the only difference I would tell you right away is that they were able to deal Carlton Davis last year because they knew they had Zion McCollum in waiting, ready to be a starter. They don't have that person sitting behind Jamel Dean right now. So whether they use a first-round draft pick, whether they try and get somebody in free agency, they could get somebody to offset Jamel Dean, but I don't know how quickly they'd have the confidence they'd need to be willing to shed Jamel Dean and the reliability that he's been. He's been injured a lot, so he's a lot like Carlton that way. But to move on from him is to take a position that was already really thin and make it even thinner.
Yeah, I'm saying they need to upgrade from that position. Somebody more reliable, somebody who's probably better as a man-for-man cover, who doesn't fall for double moves. And, you mentioned free agency, and there's some guys out there, and there's some guys in the draft. But from what you can tell, what is the Buccaneer cap situation right now?
They should be okay. They don't necessarily have a ton of space right now. They've got a couple deals they can rework really easily. You think about Tristan Wirfs and Antoine Winfield both signing long-term extensions, 4 or 5 years left on their deals. So they can literally create, I think it's like $35 million in cap space just by reworking those two deals. There's other things they could do. They could mess with Mayfield. They could extend Mike Evans if they wanted to. But they can create room to give them the flexibility to add a free agent pass rusher, a free agent cornerback. It's just doing those things will put them in a tougher spot in terms of re-upping with Gedeke or McCollum or other things like that. So I do think they appreciate that you only have so many high draft picks, and you can only fill so many of these defensive needs with immediate rookie-level starters. They did such a good job in this draft to get Barton and McMillan and Irving and Tyke Smith and all these rookie impact guys. It's hard to have 4 rookie starters every year and play at a high level. So you can definitely probably find 2 starters in the draft. If you get a third, that's great. But they're going to have to find somebody that's more of a veteran bargain type or an expensive veteran. They got to figure out with relatively limited cap space what the best use of that money is.
And Jason Light has been a wizard at working the draft the last couple of years. He's had plenty of help. John Spytek and Mike Greenberg, assistant GMs, they're getting interviews. Greenberg interview with the Jets. That would be a homecoming for him. Grew up a Jets fan, grew up on Long Island. Spytek's getting a second interview in Tennessee. He's also getting interviewed by your friend Tom Brady there out in Vegas. So what are the chances, Greg, that they will lose both of these guys?
Both would be bad, but I think there's definitely a chance they could lose one. I mean, Jason Light's been really fortunate to have the run they've had here in the last 5 years and not get rated and not lose front office personnel at all. They've all been together. I mean, the last time they lost somebody was probably John Robinson going to the Titans. Right. So the idea that you lose, I mean, Spytek's been his right-hand man. Mike Greenberg's been here 15 years. I think everybody here, I don't know if there's a cap guy or an assistant GM that's more loved in their city than Mike Greenberg is here in Tampa. So it'd be tough to lose that. But I think it's one of those where for Jason Light, unfortunately, that is the price you pay for sustained success is eventually other people want to take what you've done and replicate it somewhere else. And the easiest way to do that is take a top assistant and hope that you can make the same thing happen somewhere else.
All right, last question on your fellow coworker there, Tom Brady. This is the weekly Tom Brady question for you, Greg Auman.
Oh, so what's the question?
Well, the question here, Tommy boy, is how long are you going to be able to keep up this charade of being an analyst as well as part owner of the Raiders? Because from all reports, Greg, it looks like he's got his hand into what the Raiders are doing, and he's also a broadcaster. How much longer do you think he's going to keep that up?
Yeah, I'll be curious to see. I mean, I think he likes doing both. This is the one time of year where you kind of feel the pinch. I mean, because you see him in pregame on the field, and he's talking to what are old buddies and John Spytek and Mike Greenberg on the sidelines. But that's probably a contact that most owners or part owners wouldn't be able to have with a potential hire. He's talking to Liam Cohen before the game. I think what he's doing right now is within the rules and what he's allowed to do. Mm-hmm. And I think if the Raiders were to hire somebody, you might see teams asking for more restrictions in terms of what he's allowed to do. He already is skipping production meetings and missing out on some of the things that let you get into people's buildings as kind of a restriction and an allowance, knowing he's doing 2 things at once.
This is not going to go on, Greg, for much longer, in my opinion. And I get it. He's Tom Brady, and you're certainly going to bend the rules, which he and Bill Belichick know an awful lot about, but I don't know if we're sitting here 2 or 3 years from now and Brady's still doing both. I mean, I just don't see it happening.
Yeah, it's hard to know. I mean, and again, he could move into an Elway type, more official role where it's a team president or more of a hands-on type thing. Right now, it's kind of just somebody in the building who can help you make decisions or get you in touch with the right people. And maybe that'll change things. I don't know. It's one of those where I think he likes what he's doing, and he's got 2 new things that he has to balance in his life. So it's just a matter of, if you can do both, that's great. And if you have to choose, he'll have a choice to make.
I like what you're doing over at foxsports.com, Greg Auman. Keep up the great work. Good seeing you yesterday. We'll talk soon, my friend.
All right. Thanks, Tom. Have a good one.
You got it. That's Greg Auman. I love Greg because, he and Brady, they're working for the same team. But I don't think that Brady's going to be able to keep this up much longer. And I saw people commenting on hey, he's not leaving. He's making $37.5 million. You do know he's part owner of the Raiders, right? You do know that's a conflict of interest, right? Oh, I don't know. Am I just a little touched up in the head? Which I probably am. But am I the only one who's seeing this? I know Florio is too. We talked to Florio about it. I think he sees it the same way. It'll be interesting to see how much longer Brady's going to keep this thing up, being able to do both. I'll be surprised if it goes past the Super Bowl. I can tell you that. All right, when we come back, after the Super Bowl, Tom Brady will have blank jobs. Fill in the blank is coming up next. Don't move.
You're locked in to The Drive with TKras.
Yes, sir. And on your ride home, it is a beautiful Tuesday. Make sure you're not doing it on your ride home. But in the comfort of your own home, if you love bourbon as much as yours truly, may I recommend Chattanooga Whiskey 91, the award-winning Chattanooga Whiskey 91, 91 proof. It's fantastic. You can also mix it with an old-fashioned. I did that with some guests. They absolutely adored it. So if you're looking for a new bourbon in the new year, Chattanooga Whiskey is where it's at. The 91, the Tennessee High Malt, is their signature Tennessee High Malt recipe. It's a malt-forward approach to bourbon. It just has a very smooth, clean taste. It's not very bitter at all. It goes down well with a little bit of ice or neat. Again, you can mix it with an old-fashioned. It is absolutely spectacular. So check it out. Ask for it today at your local bars and retailers. Drink Chattanooga Whiskey and always
Drive with TKras, courtesy of Moss Nissan, live on WDAE.
Let's play a game called Fill in the Blank. I kick a rhyme for you to listen and think.
Fill in the blank.
Yeah, man, you don't know what time it is, dog. It's time for Fill in the Blank. We do this each and every Tuesday. This is a fun game. I really like this segment. It can get a little tricky and maybe uncomfortable at times, but that's how we do it here on The Drive when you drive home. If you're watching on the stream, I'm wearing the Drive t-shirt. This is a beautiful t-shirt, and I put this on social media, Chris Mathis. There are so many people clamoring for Drive t-shirts, including women, by the way.
As they should. I mean, it looks awesome. It does.
Guys, girls, they all want a piece.
I wear it to the gym, man. I wear it wherever. I wear it out and about as well.
Oh, look at that. You know, I'm surprised you can put it on over your mustache there. Oh, come on.
Man, what's got into you today? I don't know, but let's play this game of Fill in the Blank.
Let's do it.
All right, Deion Sanders will coach at blank in, let's say, 2026.
I think, and I've been back and forth on this. So the story is that Jerry Jones has spoken to Deion Sanders. And Deion Sanders would be flat out crazy to go back to Boulder and coach at the University of Colorado and not take the Cowboys job. Is the Cowboys job the most coveted job available? No, it is not. However, it's still the Dallas Cowboys and their brand. And Deion Sanders was a great player once upon a time for the Cowboys as well as the 49ers and the Falcons. We all know his history. He's one of the great corners of all time. He's a Hall of Famer. I think Deion would be nuts to turn it down. I think Jerry wants him. That's why he let Mike McCarthy go. They couldn't agree to terms on how long that contract would be, so he just said, Mike McCarthy, you're done. You're finished. I think Deion Sanders is going to be the next Cowboys coach. Yes.
Man, talk about prime time. Would be excited to watch that one. Hopefully they fall flat on their face there out in Dallas. Not a fan of the Cowboys, obviously. This Buccaneer team did blank in 2024.
I think they underachieved a little bit, Chris, because last year they made it to the divisional round. They won 10 games. They won the division. They had to come back to win the division because the Falcons had a stranglehold. And the only reason why the Buccaneers were able to come back is because the Falcons imploded. Let's be honest. But after they won the regular season NFC South title, I really had high hopes. And remember, I had that dream that Bucs Lions in the NFC Championship game. And for the Buccaneers not to get there, I think was disappointing. So I feel a little underwhelmed by the Buccaneers and how they finished the season.
The best thing to come out of this Buccaneers season was blank.
It's the offense and how it was rising through the ranks and surging to be one of the best offenses in the NFL thanks to Liam Cohen. And you can't really say that for a lot of Buccaneer teams offensively. The 2021 offense was prolific from a passing standpoint, but this offense between Baker and the passing game and Mike Evans and Jalen McMillan and the running game led by Bucky Irving, pass and run, I think this was the best offense the Buccaneers have ever had, period. So I think offensively, led by Liam Cohen, that was the best story of the 2024 Buccaneers season.
Baker Mayfield was blank in 2024.
I think he was fantastic. Finishing in the top 3 in completion percentage, passing yards, passing touchdowns. You're going to live with the turnovers. And I heard this from fans too. Well, Baker, with that turnover and that fumble, I mean, he's too reckless. We tied for the league in interceptions. He also led the league in fumbles too, by the way. Total fumbles, not fumbles lost, but total fumbles. Let me tell you, okay, there's always going to be risk and reward with Baker as your starting quarterback. Yeah, he does turn it over on occasion, but I could also tell you this. The Buccaneers would not be where they are right now without Baker Mayfield. I'm going to live with the very highs and, somewhat lows. There are more highs than lows that come with Baker as your quarterback. Plus, he's tough and he's a leader. I think the Bucs have themselves their franchise QB.
Let's talk about the head coach of your Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Todd Bowles has to blank in order to keep his job after next season.
I think he's got to win the division, and I think he needs a deep run in the playoffs in order to keep his job. I have confidence in Jason Licht to go out this offseason and make the necessary moves. I can't rely on Jamel Dean for another year. The Bucs are going to have to do something there. Even if you bring that guy back, you still have to acquire a corner. You have to draft somebody. They're not going to sign a free agent if you're going to keep Jamel Dean and his big salary. So if they keep Jamel, you must draft a corner. If you move off of Jamel, then you have to sign somebody in free agency to take his spot and or draft a corner. The Bucs need a corner. We know they need an edge rusher. I think the expectations will be raised for next year because I think Jason Licht will go out there and he will do the dirty work.
The Bucs will blank Rachaad White next season.
They're going to bring him back, and I think he will be more of a third down back. I think Bucky Irving has established himself as the starter. I don't think they're going to move off of Rachaad White. There's some things that Rachaad White does really well. He's a very mature player. He catches the ball extremely well. He's a tremendous blocker. I think as a third down back and receiver and pass pro guy, especially in the 2-minute drill, if you see him doing that, I think there is a role for Rachaad White next year. Absolutely.
And there you have it, Tampa Bay. Fill in the blank.
I love it, Chris Mathis. You know, we were talking with Greg Auman about who's going to be back, who's not going to be back. I think at the end of the day, Liam Cohen will go on his interview with Jacksonville. He's going to take a look around. I don't know how he feels about Trent Baalke. If he feels the same way that a lot of people feel about that guy, then I think Liam Cohen would be better suited just to come back here. Don't you think? I know Jacksonville's got Trevor Lawrence. You're in a winnable division. You're in a winnable division here, too, the NFC South. I don't know if they didn't tell you. They didn't go up there and tell them. This is a winnable division. The Buccaneers have won it 4 years in a row. And they will be the heavy favorite to make it 5 years in a row next year. And with Todd Bowles' status kind of meandering a little bit, maybe a little uncertain beyond next year, if you're Liam Cohen, you're thinking, I think I'll stick around because I do want to be the head coach. Why go somewhere else and have to learn from another quarterback and learn their personnel and have to teach those guys my run game concepts, my gap schemes and everything else, et cetera, et cetera? Why go somewhere else to be a head coach where if you just stick around here, you know the quarterback, you have a great relationship with him, you know the O-line, you know the skill position guys, they know you, they already know your system, they've executed it flawlessly almost in many cases. It's a top 5 offense. I think I would rather stick around. Maybe that's a question for tomorrow. If you're Liam Cohen, would you rather take the head coaching job in Jacksonville or stay here and bank on the chances that you may end up being the head guy here where you already know everybody and everybody already knows you? Doesn't that make sense? And who's to say the Glazers and Jason Licht won't come to him and say, Liam, we know that there's at least one scrub team up 95 that might want your services. But here's a nice little raise in it for you, and maybe the assistant head coach or something like that. You can add some fancy title to appease him so that he doesn't leave. Do I see that happening? Yeah, I think it's possible. I do. I think it's possible that he gets a raise, and he deserves it. Absolutely deserves it. All right, coming up, Todd Bowles at 5 o'clock with his final Buccaneer Total Access show at 5 o'clock. Not at this time, no, but it's coming up in about 15 minutes. But on the way back, final thoughts, the final drive, and a look ahead to a very big show coming your way tomorrow. That is next year on The Drive.
You're locked in to The Drive with TKras.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to 2025, and you should kick off the new year by impressing her, meaning your better half, with a timeless diamond from my good friend Steve and Julie Weintraub over at the Golden Diamond Source. And if you're ready to pop the big question, You can find the perfect engagement ring at the Golden Diamond Source, just as my guy, Chris Mathis, did. He went to the Golden Diamond Source. He recently got engaged. It was a beautiful engagement ring. And once Lily saw that ring, she said, okay, yes, the answer is yes. Okay, very bad impersonation, but you get the picture. Chris Mathis went there. You should go there as well. Make her January birthday or her 2nd and 6th wedding anniversaries unforgettable with up to 15% off garnet, which is the January birthstone, over at the Golden Diamond Source. And while you're there, discover Emilique by Emily Johnson Weintraub. What is it? It's a sleek and modern jewelry line, very attractive, by the way, that makes everyday gifts extraordinary. And you can also, guys, turn old, unused gold into cold, hard cash or a stunning new piece at the Golden Diamond Source. With gold prices soaring, there's no better time to trade up. So remember to make sure it's a Golden Diamond Source diamond to kick off 2025. Check them out, 3800 Omerton Road in Clearwater, and always online at goldendiamond.com. Tell them TKras sent you.
AutoZone. Get your most accurate home value estimate at DuncanDuo.com.
The Final Drive.
A lot of questions about the Buccaneers is who's staying, who's going. I think two guys that will be back in 2025 are Chris Godwin and Lavonte David. Chris Godwin, of course, coming off the ankle injury suffered in the Ravens game on that fateful Monday night. One thing you got to know about Chris Godwin is he loves Tampa Bay. His best friend is Mike Evans. Mike adores Chris. Chris loves Mike. Those two guys are attached at the hip, and I think the Buccaneers will work out a deal because of the injuries. It might be a one-year prove-it deal with a lot of incentives. I do believe, though, that Chris Godwin ends up staying here. As for Lavonte David, I had a chance to talk to him briefly yesterday. I think he's a warrior. I think he is one of the great Buccaneers that we've seen. He'll be in the Ring of Honor. He's a Hall of Fame type of player. And I think he will go away, clear his head a little bit. But I think at the end of the day, I think Lavonte David returns as well.
The Final Drive.
Guys, on your ride home, be careful. An injury accident can happen to anyone. It happened to me. If you or someone you love happens to be the victim of an injury accident, product liability, medical malpractice, get with my guys over at Catania & Catania, the personal injury law firm that's done their thing the last 30 years. They don't get paid unless you get paid. Almost $1 billion has been recovered by my guys for injury victims just like you. So protect your rights and protecting mine. They've got my back. They'll have your back, too. These are the guys you need to call. 813-222-8545. That's 813-222-8545. Or get a free evaluation of your case online at Catania and Catania.com, where they put families first. Office Tampa, not an attorney spokesman. I want to thank Greg Auman for joining us. Ross Tucker and Barrett Salih will join us tomorrow, as well as Would You Rather. We'll see you tomorrow here on The Drive. You're dismissed. Todd Bowles is next.
Get out of here!